Okay, are you guys seeing the screen okay?
Yep.
Perfect. Okay, so we're gonna chat through 8 weird places to find clients. So yes, this is very literally is just some weird places that you might not think about how to actually get traction and get those first few contracts that you can then leverage into bigger contracts. But it's also a larger conversation about my kind of philosophy of actually going out and building a client roster and it's usually very different from what new copywriters expect it to be. Okay. So it's we're kind of tackling like bigger conversation and then some really, really practical next steps about things you can do right now to just get some traction. Well, if you have questions at any point, like it's just us on this call. So just chime in and ask or stop me at any point. Cool. Okay, so we're going to start with just the laws of landing clients. Um, and these are just things that I have learned over time, have helped me grow quickly in the beginning. And these are the things that I see that separate people from separate the people who like get traction quickly versus the people who get stuck in the mud and don't get that traction and then end up being like reaching out to me a year into their copy career, being like, T, how do I find clients? Right? These are the kind of core principles that make the real difference. So, number one, this is just irreplaceable. I can't give this to you. This is just a character trait that we all need to have, which is we need to be resourceful. Okay. So I can say, I can give you suggestions about where to go and areas to go, but ultimately, you're going to have to be the one to like Google and find out where are these job boards? Where are these communities? There's new ones popping up all the time. There's probably people around you in your life already who need copy, and there's probably doors that you could walk through right now. So a lot of this is going to come down to just like, are you going to think critically about things you can do for yourself and how scrappy can you actually be? Hey, Kate. Okay.
Hey.
Hey. Super, super core principle. I am always harping on this. Focus on finding friends, not clients. And this is so, so important. And this is like, if you take any message from today, it's this. You will be more successful if you just think of building your client roster and your copy career around genuine, authentic connections. And as cheesy as that sounds, it's also the thing that drives the most revenue ultimately. Okay. You're also playing the long game. So, and John, Kieran, Kate, like you guys have all kind of been in this position already where you've taken on these first few gigs that feel like you're putting in a lot more work than the money that you're getting paid, right? So it doesn't ultimately make sense. It's not going to make sense for you for very long. But right now, if you put in that work and you get that little door, the little crack in the door opens because now you can point to something and say, hey, here's some work I did, here's some data I have. Now you have this connection that might lead to more work. It might lead to different relationships. You don't know. You're planting seeds now to play the long game. And if you can practice patience in that way and just trust the process, you are going to build a sustainable business, one where there is this consistent, dependable revenue coming in every month versus feeling like you're scrambling for clients every month. Okay. Finally, um, it's so important that you do this your way because what you have to kind of wrap your head around is that you're building a business, right? Like you're building your business. It's John Inc., it's Kieran Inc., it's Kate Inc. So you can't take exactly what I say or exactly the way I would say it You have to communicate the way that you're authentically, instinctually wanting to communicate with the people that you meet. And it's so important because I learned this lesson the hard way. That's why I am so passionately saying this, because the moments that I have tripped in relationships and maybe lost some opportunities along the way was when I tried to take other people's advice blindly and ignored completely my own instincts about a relationship or about communicating in a certain way. Okay. So it's really, really important, as much practical advice as I can give you. And there's some stuff that's just like, yes, just do it this way because I'm telling you that's the way to do it. There's an element of this, like you have to have your own personality and your own genuine self in the mix. Otherwise, you're gonna keep hitting your head against the wall. Okay. All right. So I haven't had to look for clients in a long time. Okay. I don't spend any time actively sitting finding clients. For the past, I would say like 3.5 to 4 years, even, I have not had to actively do client outreach. And these are the reasons why. Because I focus on those laws of landing clients that I just mentioned, but also because of this stuff. I am very focused on always improving my craft. And I always made sure that I have confidence behind my craft. It is so much easier to say yes to gigs, to talk to new people, to pitch yourself in certain situations when you know that your copy is good or that you have enough confidence behind it. And yes, that takes a while, but as long as you're investing in your craft, like all of you guys are, you're here, you're showing up on this call, you're putting in the work, you're getting your reps in, don't ever stop doing that. It's going to be the biggest needle mover. If your copy is good, you get results, you get paid more, you get more clients. Okay. It's pretty simple, but it's easy to forget. Don't focus too much on just get clients. Focus on getting results for clients. Cool. All right. Genuine friendships. I already harped on this, but I'm going to say it again because it's the most important thing. Genuine friendships, not clients, people you actually connect with. Okay. Transparent communication. Do not feel the need to go on Upwork and say, I'm the best copywriter in the world, or I've done all of this, or I've gotten these big results, or inflate what you've done. You don't need to do that. People want to give new copywriters opportunities, especially when you are communicating authentically and genuinely. People want to swing open doors for you. Okay. I know from experience that the more you say things like, hey, I haven't actually written that type of copy before, but here's what I have worked on. And I would be really excited to give this a shot. And I have the support of a copy coach. That's a very transparent, clear, and true statement, but there's a lot of confidence behind just saying what is true. Okay. So don't forget that at any point in your journey also. And finally, you are not competing on having the best copy in the world at this point. Okay. You are competing on saving your clients time, energy, money, and sanity. That's why it's important to communicate clearly, effectively, straightforward, and you will stand out in a very, very big way from all of your competition. And it has very little to do with coming out of the gate having some incredible raw talent. Okay. Any questions so far? I know we're just like covering the ground rules before I get into the 8 things, but questions, clarification, anything? Everyone thumbs up with me? Love it. Okay, let's jump in. All right, number 8, you guys know this one, but I'm gonna call it, it is kind of a weird spot because job boards, I know that I'm always harping about them, but when you are resourceful, I like Upwork because I know there are marketers there, but if you also just Google different freelance job boards, I've been seeing a lot more pop up on LinkedIn, like freelance copywriting gigs, this stuff. If you're resourceful and you're willing to do the work like John did this week, where John went through a lot of kind of rough outreach where he's like, I don't think this one's good. I don't think this one's good. But when there's a gem in the rough, it can really work out for you. Okay. Dan has gotten a couple of really solid clients off Upwork that have led to like continuous email work every month. because he went through this process of just kind of sticking with it. But it's so ideal for new copywriters because you don't have to have any connections whatsoever. Okay. It's just like access to a bunch of people who need copywriters. Like it's cutting out a lot of work for you. So as much as it feels like a grind, it's actually pretty awesome for the position you're in. Okay. Don't stay on these job boards too long. The number one goal here is just to get some real client work under your belt. Would I go on Upwork? No. In your second year of copy, when you start just getting a few wins and you have more of a community, you're going to be off of these things. Okay. But as a starting place, it is pretty awesome if you're willing to be resourceful and you're willing to get your hands dirty. Okay. So I know it's painful, but it's worth doing the extra like work here. Okay. Number 7, the comments section on Facebook. Okay. I'm going to go back to being resourceful. When you go on Facebook, you're going to type in copywriting, email copywriting, email marketing, online marketing, e-commerce. Type in whatever you need to. Be resourceful, find a bunch of communities, join the communities. They're free and they're full of people who are either copywriters or even better, people who own e-com companies who are actively hiring copywriters, right? This is like we live in a time where we literally can go to the comment section on somebody's post is like a little networking party. Okay. It's so easy. All you have to do is like, comment, and support others. So it's such a good opportunity for you to just show up genuinely, and you'll be amazed at how you can make friends genuinely and some pretty deep connections online by just continually supporting people in the comments. And I'm literally talking stuff like this, like, love this. Thanks for sharing. This is really helpful. Thank you. Wow, great job. Maybe another copywriter posts a win, right? It seems so simple, but if you do this 10 times for somebody's posts over like a couple of months, that person is going to recognize your face and you guys are going to be able to start DMing and then doors open because you've made that connection. Now imagine you do this for 10 people 10 times a month, right? Now you're like exponentially growing your network without even having to leave your house. Okay. Do not underestimate the power here of just putting some time aside every day to just talk to one person. Just start some conversations. It seems small, but it's like a snowball effect. So it's really important to just start planting these seeds now. Okay. Number 6, in your DMs. I've talked to you guys about the post and connect method, but I'm going to walk you through an actual example of somebody who used this and literally got a client out of it. Okay. Brand new copywriter. Okay. All it is you're finding these groups because now we've done this work. Okay. So we're in these groups and now we're in a position where we can start posting in these groups. And we're going to have, because we've done all this, we have a bunch of friends who we've supported. So now we make a post and we say, hey, here's a thing I've learned about copywriting this week. Now, all the people you've supported are going to like and comment on your post, right? So now suddenly you have this little community. So here's what you're going to do, and here's how you leverage that really quickly, okay? Here's an example. Student who found a community of online marketers on Facebook, and he wrote this post, and we're going to break it down and why this post was so effective, and then we're going to see the outcome of what actually happened. Okay. So this, all he did was say, hello, everyone. Thank you for accepting me into this awesome group. Right off the top, gratitude, respect, humbleness. A big mistake that I see, I'm saying this for the recording for anybody else who watches this, in case somebody has this instinct. I see it a lot. People will feel like they need to go in and say, hey, I'm so-and-so and I'm the best copywriter in the world. I want to be the #1 copywriter. You come in really hot, acting like you know more than you know. That's not the move, okay? Just this. Very gracious, very respectful. That's it. It's very, very simple. Okay. So thank you for accepting me into this awesome group. Okay. These past few months, I've been learning about copywriting from my coach, Tiana, just getting into the game and currently focusing on the health and wellness niche. Here's that thing we talked about. Be transparent. No need to inflate experience. Okay. He's saying, I'm brand new. Here's what I'm practicing in. That's it. Okay. Very happy to be part of this group, and I'm excited to learn all from you all here. Then he goes, a little bit about myself. I have a background in graphic design, specializing in the apparel industry. I make graphics that go on t-shirts and jerseys. To summarize, I grew up in a tiny rural town in Ontario, so naturally I like to be outdoors when I can, and I'm always down for adventure. I love creativity, favorite hobbies, snowboarding, skateboarding, beatboxing. It's not about copywriting, right? He's just talking about himself. He's just saying interesting facts about who he actually is as a person. Because again, we are trying to find friends inside of these communities of people who are actively looking for copywriters. You want to be their friend. Okay? Is everyone starting to kind of see where I'm going with this? And how that is so, so different. When he wrote a post like this, he got, sorry. I look forward to connecting with you all, right? Really important, no ask. Okay. He's not saying, do you guys have any clients for me? I'm looking for clients. He's just saying, I'm looking forward to connecting with you guys. Very genuine. Okay. He got 42 comments on this thing. This is the first post he ever made in this group. Okay. There's a reason that he got 42 comments. If you go through the comments, they're like, oh, dude, I love snowboarding too. Oh my God, you beatbox? So do I. You should listen to my thing, whatever. Okay. They're like, oh, Ontario, like, cool. I live blah, blah, blah. Like, they're not talking about copy at all. They're literally so much more interested in this part of it. 42 comments. That's pretty damn good. If he had posted, hey, I'm a new copywriter and I'm looking for copy work, how many comments do you think he would get? Like, who cares, right? But instead, he's just genuinely saying, here's who I am. And he's genuinely connecting with people. Okay. So here's what he did next. Here's how he leveraged this. For every person who commented, he sent them a personal message. Hey, Dan. He sent them a personal message. Okay. And it went like this. Hey, Christina, just wanted to say thanks for commenting on my post, on my intro post the other day. It took me a bit of courage to step out there, so it means a lot. That is so transparent. He's not inflating anything. No ask whatsoever. This is so, so important. He is not saying, thanks for commenting. I'm really looking for clients. Do you have anything for me? Right? He's just saying, thank you for connecting. I appreciate your support. It is so great to connect with you. And here's the response that he got. Absolutely. And if you want to get your feet wet writing some email swipes, let me know. I'm happy to contract out a few your way. Look how fast that happens. And the reason that she was into it is because he seems like a genuine person. He seems like he's going to be likable and easy to work with. It really is that simple. I use this exact same method, and I have met people. It doesn't always go like this, where you're directly going to get a client. You're making friends, and later you're going to be able to leverage those relationships. Okay. Sometimes it happens a few weeks from then. Sometimes doors open because you knew this people 2 or 3 years from then. I have friends who have led to huge contracts but I planted the seeds maybe like 2 or 3 years before by using this method. Okay. It's really, really powerful, very simple. You could literally do it tonight and you will start getting some movement. Okay. So you kind of got to trust the process, but it's so, so valuable. Everyone following? Cool. All right. Number 5, your current job. Okay. You're already in a position where people trust you, like you, and are paying you. If you just literally ask, the business that you're working for has to communicate with clients or customers in some way. There is not a business on this planet who could not benefit from emails or copywriting in some way. Okay. So just critically think, do you guys have a welcome sequence, for example? Are you sending out emails? How are they doing it? What are they currently doing? What copy is on their website right now? Okay. Express interest, mention, hey, I'm learning copywriting, and literally just ask. I did this when I was at my the UX agency. I just said, hey, I've been like, as a side hobby, I'm kind of learning copywriting. I've been really interested in it. And they're like, oh, cool, we need some writing done. And I actually kind of got to get my feet wet and put out a few um, informational, or like we were trying to run some trainings, kind of seminars for like students in UX. And I was able to write the flyers and all of the email communication for that because I just asked. Okay. And Kate, you kind of had this experience too. Like you thought about this as well. You're looking around at your current colleagues and you're like, or your current job, and you're like, yeah, they could probably use some help with their emails, right? So it's kind of a weird place because you think, well, maybe I'm trying to leave this place, but don't underestimate what's right in front of your face. Okay. So there's going to be some form of copy that's needed. Number 4, neighborhood, coffee shops, gym, community, church. Okay. The cool thing about copywriting and why it's so amazing is that it applies to every single business on the planet. Okay. There's not a business that could not benefit from emails or copy. If you just start talking to people and just kind of mention, oh, yeah, I'm a copywriter, actually, just get chatty with people. Like I have met clients at coffee shops, working at co-working spaces, at my gym, just weird places, just because I'm saying, hey, I'm a copywriter. And you don't know who has a business or who's running what or who's connected with what. Like the other day, I was in a coffee shop and I saw the guy who owns the gym that I go to. And he's like, oh, what do you do for work, by the way? And I was like, oh, I'm a copywriter. He's like, oh my God. Yeah, actually, you should check out our emails because I feel like we could be monetizing that more. And I was like, yeah, no problem. I can take a look, right? It's so crazy how many, if you just walk outside your door right now, within like a stone's throw, there are people who are selling stuff and need your help. Okay. So here's a little exercise that I really recommend you take some time to do. Get out a piece of paper. Very simple. Just need a paper and some pen. Okay. And a pen. And you're going to write out anybody you know who has any type of customer in any way. Okay. It could be Greg, gym owner. Allison owns this bakery. Matt from church runs some kind of business. My old friend has a big social media following. Colleague is a dog walker. Okay. Whatever. There's like, I guarantee that you know people who are running businesses. And if you do this exercise and you don't put my name on the list, like, right, you're sitting, like, there are people on this call right now, in this space. So it's like, it's such an easy exercise. And when you start just opening your mind, you're like, holy shit, there's all these potential clients around me, right? Okay. Including because you are action oriented and you're going to take action on all the things we talked about on this call, you have a bunch of marketing friends that you've made online because you're in the networking party in the comment section in these Facebook groups. You're making posts, you're in people's DMs, you're expanding this list already, right? So you're going to write down every single person. The list is going to be longer than you think. Then you're going to write them custom samples. Okay. Just start with choose your top 5 from that list. Be like, I think these ones are probably maybe they're the most accessible, or maybe the biggest opportunity, whatever it is for you. Just choose 5 to start with and just write them custom samples. You can write them affiliate swipe emails. Okay. If it's somebody who you met through one of the Facebook groups, check out the business they're running. Go look at what subscribe to their list, see what kind of emails they're sending out. Go check out their offer, read their sales page. join their thing. Find out if they have a welcome automation or not. If they don't, you can write them a welcome automation. Okay. Abandoned cart sequence. Go to their checkouts. See, are they sending an email if you abandon the cart? If not, you can write them a custom abandoned cart sequence. Do they have a sales page? Can you write them a new lead? Is there anything on the sales page, a section of the sales page that you could tweak? Anything that would help them communicate with customers online in any way. Okay. So just again, you got to do a little bit of research. Yes. But just think about what you possibly can write them, but you're going to write them something custom. Then you're going to send them this email. Take a screenshot of this if you need to. Okay. But it's a template. And you can really just fill in the blank here. Okay. So, your subject line is going to be copywriter, custom sample for offer name or business, whatever it is. Okay. Hey, name. If you know them, put a little line of context. We met at Neo Coffee Shop the other day. Okay. Whatever it is. I'm a copywriter and I've been following your company for the past few months. I was inspired to write a few custom samples for your offer or the sales page, whatever. Okay. This is a really important line because it's not an ask. You're just saying you're expressing interest and excitement. Okay. I was inspired to write a few samples. Okay. Here are 2 email creatives. Here's a welcome automation I wrote for you. Here's a new lead I wrote for you, whatever. Okay. I wrote these for practice and I had them reviewed by my copy coach. Instant credibility. Now this has more weight because you've said, well, I'm getting it reviewed and you're showing that this is something you're actually investing time and effort in. I wanted to send them along in case you would like to test them. If you do decide to use them, please let me know how they go. Okay, you're not being pushy. There's no big ask here. You're just giving value. I really enjoyed writing these and I would love to be kept in mind if you need a copywriter in the future. By the way, here are a few additional pieces I've written in this niche, whatever. Okay, here are a bunch of other emails that I wrote. And it's an opportunity to just show a little bit more of your work. Really important. This is so clear, direct. It's not clever. It's just very straightforward. You're saving them time, energy, money, giving them value, saving them sanity. You're making it so easy for them to hire you. Okay. So important, clear communication, straight to the point, no razzle dazzle here. Instant credibility by just saying, I got these reviewed by a copy coach. I'm working with a copy coach. I'm investing in my copy getting better. No ask, just gratitude and respect. Very straightforward. Use them if you would like to. All I ask is that you tell me how they go. Okay. Very straightforward. Very, very effective. If you do this exercise, I promise you, something's going to come out of it if you just do it enough times. Does anybody have questions about that, or is that pretty clear and straightforward? This is very like actionable, practical stuff. Cool. Great. All right. Number 3, e-com and marketing events. Okay. There will come a point where once you've gotten a little bit of traction and you've gotten those first few clients under your belt, maybe you've hit that first income goal, you're going to want to reinvest. If your goals are like, I want to make 10K per month, 20K per month, okay? There's going to be a point where you're going to take a little leap and you're going to reinvest by going and meeting people in person. And this is important because we make friends, not clients. Okay. We find friends, not clients. So you're going to want to go to events. Here's what a lot of marketing events look like. It's very small groups of people hanging out, talking about business. It's very, you have a lot of opportunity to really get to know people and build a lot of genuine connections and trust this way. So it really is like very, very high leverage, and a really amazing investment when you're ready. Okay. Get a couple of wins under your belt before you go so that you have a little bit of an idea when you go into these spaces, that you can kind of chat about marketing or business. You're mostly just going to listen anyways, The important part is that you're just putting yourself in rooms where you have access to people who are actively in the space. Okay. And quite a few steps uh, further than you. Okay. There are virtual events as well, I'll point out. Really interesting thing about this is that a little hack is that I have gone to many, many events, and you don't always have to buy a ticket to these events. Because if you know that the event is going on in the city, and because you're in these Facebook groups, you're seeing who all's going there, you can actually make plans ahead of time and say, oh, are you going to ASW? Oh, that's awesome. You know what? I think I'm actually going to be in the city at the same time. So would you like to meet up for dinner? And they're like, or whatever, would you like to, whatever, okay? You might have an opportunity to just go and meet people in the bars around the events. So many people go to these events and they're not looking to they're going to the networking event, but they're way more interested in hanging around with each other at the bars after. So if you just happen to be in the same hotel that is hosting this event and you are sitting there in the lobby and you're starting to chat to people, you're going to meet some pretty interesting people. Okay. So this is where the hustle comes in. This is where the scrappiness comes in. This is where the bravery comes in. But I've met some pretty incredible clients this way without even buying a ticket to the event. Okay. Little hack. Right? Number two, trains, planes, automobiles. Okay. So many people are running businesses. If you are anywhere, if you are in a tight space with somebody, especially flying, like you just turn to the person next to you, there's a good chance that they're involved in some company or already have some company or is selling something online or could potentially use a copywriter at some point. Okay. Just be curious with people. Again, you're just trying to find friends. Just drop and be that you're a copywriter and just like be open to about it. Start to be more talkative about this part of your life because you'll be amazed how many people are like, "Oh, really? You do that? I actually really need a copywriter for this." Like it happens daily, okay? Then you're going to add them to your list that we mentioned before, that little exercise, and you're going to go through that exact same process that you did before. Okay. Fun stories, weird places that I've met clients. Recently, I was coming back from New York. My plane got delayed. I was stuck. I had to get rerouted to Ottawa. We were stuck in a snowstorm. Met a guy on the plane, started chatting with him. Turns out that he has this big Instagram following and he actually needed a lot of copy for socials and he needed help with some sales pages. Okay. Boom. Client right there. Okay. Literally in my own home. So when I moved into this apartment, my landlord came over because he had to fix like, I don't know, a light bulb or something. And we were kind of chatting and he goes, "Oh, I follow you on Instagram actually, and you write copy, right?" And I was like, "Yes." And he's like, "Oh, okay, so me and my friends launched this company, but we're not getting any sales. Would you mind taking a look at the sales page? Because I think we actually need some help." Boom, I did a little bit of consulting for him. There we go, client, right? So again, it's so much about this is just being open. It's such a highly valuable skill that you have doors open all over as long as you are sticking to your law of being resourceful. Okay. Uh, my personal trainer asked me the other day, how would I go and launch how would I sell my courses online? Like if I want to do personal training and sell a course online, what would I do? Right? I could probably pitch him some work there. Hinge, hilariously, dating apps. Okay. Yes, starts in one place. Mention I'm a copywriter. Turns out they have an online business. Turns out it's a better business deal than a date. Okay. But there's all over the place. People have businesses, coffee shops, hotel lobbies, gym, co-working spaces, parties. You meet people everywhere. So don't underestimate just dropping it in conversation. Okay. And number one, this is without a doubt the most high leverage thing that you can do to build a really solid client roster, and find really, really amazing clients. Okay. Real friends equal referrals. And this goes way back to the beginning where I said you have to focus on finding friends, not clients. This is why. Because all of the 8 things that we just talked about, what we're really doing is planting a bunch of seeds so that this starts happening for you. And when this starts happening, then you're inside of a bubble where it's just, you don't have to scramble and look for work anymore because people are just coming to you because they like you, they trust you, and you've been focusing on your craft. So you're getting people results, and it's just totally fluid. This is the big difference. Okay, because you've played the long game, this is what's going to end up happening. So here's an example. This is my friend Brian. We met initially online. We chatted just like in DMs, and then I ended up meeting him at networking events, and we got more chatting, really became friends, became such close friends. I ended up going to his small wedding, and he started referring me clients. He started trusting me on a genuine level that he started trusting his really big clients to me. And so here's just an example of an email he sent where he said, "Hey, Scott, meet Tiana. She's a copywriter in the health and fitness space. I think she'll do a great job helping you with this. I'll let her take it from here." Okay. This is how that happens. This is how you get the big players, is through people and genuine connections. This is why it's so important to just build trust and help other people too. The law of reciprocity. The more that you can give and support other people, the more this is going to happen for you. Okay. So you're going to find your ins. You're going to impress them so much with how trustworthy you are, how great of a communicator you are, how transparent you are, how genuine and wonderful of a person you are. And they are going to want to swing open doors for you. Okay. I know from experience, this is how it works. And the more people you know in the copywriting space, people are going to have overflow clients, right? Like me, there's times where I have clients and then I hire you guys to help me write for those clients, because so that I can take on more work and then I can share the workload. Okay. So that's how that works in a nutshell. And it really comes back to this stuff. So take a screenshot of this and really just focus on, make this your mission. Okay. Resourceful, find friends, not clients, play the long game and do it your way, because you're going to be planting seeds, because this is the type of business I want you to have. I don't want you to be scrambling, feast and famine. I want you to really be building something sustainable. Okay. So that was a ton of information. Do you have any questions, comments, concerns? It can be anything to do with clients, building your business, whatever. Anything?
Um, yes, I have a small question. Oh, my hair's a hot mess. Haven't had my video on. Welcome to nighttime. So I guess this is really a mindset question because I find myself like going to the group, like on the Facebook group, getting ready to write a chill post and then like overthinking hugely the humble gratitude simple thing I want to say, or like what on not copy related things do I want to introduce about myself. Then I overthink it, then I've been putting it off, and I am not sure how to like spur myself into actually just doing it, not thinking too hard, clicking post, and then seeing what happens. Yeah, so that's my question.
Okay, this is a great question. I'm glad you brought it up, and it's totally valid. And I remember feeling the exact same way. And when I'm in new spaces and I feel like I have to do the same thing, I have the same hang up. So the big thing is everybody has that feeling. Like, it is scary to put yourself out there. It takes a certain amount of bravery. Okay. The only difference between the person who doesn't do it and the person who does do it is they have a little override system in their head where they go, there's what's more important to me is the forward movement and the evolution and the what's going to come out of this than the fear. It just has to matter more. You just have to be willing to be a little bit uncomfortable. And that's going to actually be like a theme that comes up because especially for people who are transitioning into like if you have not come from like a freelance or entrepreneurial background before, that's why I'm saying like this scrappiness, this resourcefulness, that's that quality is going to get you really far. So the answer is basically like buckle up, sit with the fear because it's coming for the ride the whole way through. It's part of your world now. It's always going to be part of your freelance business. So don't try to ignore it. Just be like, oh, yep, there's my friend. Fear. They're the passenger in the car. They're going to be here. I'm going to do the thing anyway. And I know that's kind of like it's the most realistic, practical answer I can give you. You just
That's
have
fantastic.
like something matters more than that discomfort.
No, that's a really good reframe.
Make sense?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. And once you do it once, it gets easier the next time. And trust me, when you put it out there, like you just get a few likes and a little bit of support from other people, you're gonna, yeah, you're gonna feel good about it pretty fast. And um, an easy way to is like it's you won't overthink it if you're trying to help somebody else, right? So start by just commenting. This is where I'm saying in the comment section is really powerful. Like it's really easy. It's going to be easy for you, Kate, to go and say, "Oh my God, great job" to somebody in the comment, right? That's a
Totally.
there's way less fear there, right? But imagine how much that means to that person who was so scared to make that post. So now you've given that person something so valuable and you're getting something out of that. Like that's traction for you. The more that you do that.
Yeah, 100%.
Yes?
Definitely. Thank you.
Of course. Any other questions? It can be like really practical stuff too.
Yeah, T, I think I mean kind of going off what Kate was saying too, like just like the post connect strategy, like I definitely um implemented that and then started striking up convos with people like in DMs and Facebook, stuff like that. And I definitely like I too kind of had maybe a bit of an overthink of like I don't want to like knowing when the point comes to say, hey, like do you have any tips for me for copy or whatever? It's like getting very like personal and then it kind of like runs dry.
Okay.
And then you're just kind of like, what's kind of the next thing I should say? Or, you know what I mean? Like how long do we talk about hockey for? Or like,
Right.
that kind of thing.
Okay, first of all, I love that you're talking about hockey with somebody in the space because
Yeah.
they're doing it right, and that's traction, right? So, that's interesting because Dan, we kind of had this conversation too, where it was like, well, I'm talking to this person, and then it's like it gets to this point of like, kind of like the weird moment on the date where you're like,
Yeah.
well, who's paying the bill, or like, or it's like that. What do we do now? The answer is that when it's a genuine friendship, you're not asking those questions, right? So
Yeah.
I'm really mean, like really take to heart when I say you're genuinely just trying to make friends because when you do this, like you won't have to ask those questions. You're not going to have to be like, don't be like, can I pick your brain or ask for tips? Because it's like it, it's basically like you're asking for like free, I don't know, coaching or somebody's time. Like it doesn't ever really pan out as well as you think. Um,
Mm.
what instead I would do is just if the conversation ends, the conversation ends. But the next time that person posts, you're sure as hell going to be in the comments supporting them because now that's your friend. You're going to keep striking up new conversations. The next time, whatever, the team you talked about, the next time they win, you're going to shoot them a message. You're just going to, you've planted the seed. Now you're just going to water the relationship. That's
Yeah.
it. And the next time that you post, because now that person's a friend on Facebook, when you start posting things like, hey, here's something I learned about copywriting, because you've built that connection, that person's going to be there liking your post and commenting. And over time, like I said, you might not see that turn into a client thing or an open door immediately, but I'm telling you, like I planted seeds like 3 years ago. And okay, this guy Justin, I met him online years ago, and he's like much further ahead in the space, like somebody I look up to in the space. And then just just in 2024, finally, we had a conversation where he's like, hey, would you be interested in writing copy for me? This is years later of me just every once in a while reaching out to him and saying, hey man, what's up? Haven't talked to you in a while. Every time he posts, I just like it. Just say, hey, that's awesome that you're working on that. Whatever. Even their personal stuff. They post stuff about their family. Just say, hey, awesome. Like, Merry Christmas. Holidays are great, by the way. Holidays are such a good opportunity to reconnect with people you haven't talked to in a while. But it really is just that. Does that answer the question?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, for sure. It's just like yeah, it's really interesting because it's like almost like you're like as I guess as an adult like relearning how to make friends kind of, but just in like a virtual way. Like it's just yeah, it takes a minute definitely to just like
Yeah.
not cross those lines of like I want to further myself as a copywriter, but I like put that on hold to make the genuine friendship and then as you said, right, just trust the process that that will happen.
Yes, because
Yeah.
you are furthering yourself as a copywriter. Because the
Yeah.
second change that conversation to I need clients, now what you've done is the dynamic of the relationship is this person has something to give you. You've now changed the dynamic from we're here supporting each other, we're on an equal playing field where you want to be peers with somebody, you don't want to be this.
Mm.
That makes sense?
Yeah, totally.
So that's how you do that. So you actually have a better shot of that turning into something this way than straight out like asking. Unless you're going to do the thing that I said, which is write out your list. And if that person has a business and you happen to be like, then you can say, hey, buddy, did you catch the game the other day? It was awesome. Acting like, I don't know, what do you say when you watch a hockey game? I don't know. And then, and you go, hey, as you know, I've been like practicing copy and I just got really inspired and decided to write a couple email swipes for you. So feel free to use them if you want. I thought I would share them. I would just ask if you do use them. Let me know how they go. I would love to hear. But in any case, that's it. Appreciate your time. Now you've given him something without an ask, like you're basically presenting yourself as like, hey, I want to write for you. See what I mean?
Yeah, totally. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Cool. Anything else? Any other
I'm
questions?
just gonna make a comment saying, that's funny how you say it's you're like relearning how to make friends as an adult. Because yeah, now that I think about it, it is a little harder to make like friends as an adult compared to like when you're in like high school.
Yeah.
Because like when you're in high school, you don't care about saying like stupid shit, but as you get older, you're like super conscious of what you say, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly. It just like it takes because like you said, Dan, like when you're young and stuff like that, like you don't give a shit. You know what I mean? You're just gonna like go out and you're like partying and you're doing whatever. But like now it's just like you want to find like as an adult you want to find genuine connection, but like when you're actually doing it while you're also like a copywriter, it's just yeah, it's
yeah.
something just to get used to for a sec,
It's
at least for me.
I think it's also because like, when you're talking to these like business owners, they're like so much further ahead.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, man, I don't want to like look stupid, or say something stupid. Right.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like sometimes like why I kind of like hesitate to respond back sometimes, which is obviously like not good. You should always like I should always respond back. But that's like kind of like my weakness, like not following up. Um, but I kind of like learned the hard way that that's like how you burn your bridges.
Yeah, that's a good point, Dan, too. And like it's kind of like what we were saying too, Kate. Like it really is the scrappiness that when you as soon as you just learn to do that more and put yourself in a position where like you're afraid and you do it anyways, um
Mhm.
you're gonna that's gonna get it's always gonna be uncomfortable, but you're gonna get so much further so much faster. And so it's like yes, and all of us will have different fears. Like Dan, we've kind of talked about this and I'm transparent about it. Like, yeah, my big inner monologue is like I'm not smart enough, right? So that's constantly something I have to battle, even when I'm making yeah, connections or friends now, or I step into new spaces. I'm always feeling like I'm not smart enough. And then you have to have that override system in your head that goes, this matters more. This matters more than the discomfort. And it's okay. Like it's okay that you're gonna say the wrong thing sometimes and you're gonna whatever. It's gonna happen, I guarantee you. But I can also guarantee you it's not that big of a deal and you'll get over it. You'll get through it.
Yeah, it's like getting yourself out there. It's a little hard at first, but once you do it a few times, it's like you don't you don't care about like you don't think you're gonna look stupid because everybody recognizes that it takes guts to like put yourself out there, right? And they respect that, so they're gonna like respond to you, right? Because they were there
Mhm.
one time too. And then it's just like my problem is like once I make the introduction, it's like how do I keep the conversation going without boring them, kind of, you know?
Yeah, I think it's like I think that's an inner dialogue thing where
Yeah.
you think I'm boring this person. Like
Yeah.
there's so much mindset stuff that like, I'm not a therapist. I can't go into the realm of like therapy stuff, but I do know it helps a lot to think about this stuff because when you're again, you're when you enter a more entrepreneurial space, this mindset piece really comes into play and you can see how it's such a needle mover, right? Because it's going to be the difference between the person who goes out, writes the list, makes the connection, sends the samples versus the person who doesn't. And it's these little
Yeah.
things that really add up and accumulate into a multi-six-figure business for you, right?
Yeah.
So, um,
100%.
yeah, so it's good you're like so aware of those things, and I think now it's training yourself to do just to go like I'm doing it anyways, and it helps so much to if we look back at that post and connect example that I showed, where it helps so much to just not talk about the copywriting piece because you're unconfident about the copywriting piece, right?
Yeah.
But you're not uncomfortable talking about hockey or snowboarding or something else you love or where you live or another passion you have, right? Those things are not uncomfortable because it's not as high stakes for you. So when you are making connections based on real stuff in your life, and then, oh, by the way, we could probably do business together. When you think of it that way, it's actually really effective because it helps you get through some of that stuff and actually like pave the way for connections that you can leverage.
That's a good point, because like that reminds me of the book How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. I read it like a long time ago, and I remember after reading it, I was like, wow, like I'm so good at talking to people right now, right? But that was like 10 years ago when I read it, right? But you're right. That reminds me of like try to find some kind of common ground with them, but don't talk about like something that they're totally unaware of, even though you're super interested. I think like it's that you got to try to find some common ground with them to keep the combo going and to, build some kind of connection.
Well, yeah, and just being interested in their thing, right?
Yeah, yeah, that too.
Like when I'm nervous in conversation, I've just trained myself to ask more questions.
Yeah.
That's another thing. It's like when I start asking questions, I don't want to like seem like I'm interrogating them because I don't know. It's just the way I kind of ask questions kind of scares people sometimes.
Might be in your head too. Like people like
Yeah.
talking about themselves. If you show interest and support to somebody else,
Yeah.
that feels good, right? It feels good
Yeah.
when somebody is like, "Oh, tell me more about that," or like, "Wow, that's amazing that you're doing that. That's so cool." Like you can be that support system for the other person because all of this stuff that's in our heads, that other person has them too because they're also human beings.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. It's a good point.
Yeah, I'm having an idea right now. Ever since Dan, you said that you're afraid you'll bore somebody or that you're someone will think you're boring. Um, I don't think you are. And if you guys like want to practice making friends, let's just get in each other's DMs and talk about stuff that's not copywriting. We're not going to hire each other, but if we're all nervous about these same things, we might as well just get talking about hockey or I don't really watch hockey, but I did live in Canada, so
Mhm.
other stuff. We can practice on each other. We're really
Yeah,
low
yeah.
stakes.
Yeah, yeah, I think I think this conversation's a good segue into that. I think that's one thing that we have in common. It's like, try not to look sound well, try not to think too much while you're talking. I think that's the main point. It's
Learn
not about like
as an adult. Yeah.
sounding dumb or something. It's just try not to think about that, when talking. Right. And just try to find like common ground. But yeah, it's a
give
good
and give and support, be interested and be curious, right? Like, what can
point.
I offer this other person? Um, it's everybody wants this. Everybody wants to feel connected, feel supported, feel seen, feel heard. When you can provide that for somebody else, it doesn't matter if they have a multi-million-dollar business or they're just starting, that everybody wants that, right? Like that piece is not something you can buy. So that's like you can provide that. And Kate, to your point, like, yes, 100%, this is why we have a Slack channel and this community, right? So you guys have access to each other and you should be doing this. And don't you saying, well, we're not going to hire each other. I don't think that's true. I think if you stay in contact, I absolutely think two things are going to happen. You're
Mhm.
going to have too many clients at some point and say, "Hey, Dan, I have this extra client, like, but I can't take them on. Would you like me to connect you?" Right? Or the other day, we were on a call and Dan, what was that? Where I was like, "Oh yeah, actually, and um, you can also pitch to your client that you have somebody who can help them with the email deliverability stuff because Dan actually does that, right? When you
Yeah.
have a community, like you guys are going to start sharing contacts and connections and all that. So every single relationship, every person that you meet, like you don't know what they're working on or who they're going to be a year from then. So do not underestimate that either, ever, because you never know who you're talking to. And again, this is why it's important to like focus on the friendship and the person and the connection and not the like, who are they or what can they offer me? Because you don't know yet. You don't know.
That's true.
Yeah.
Heard.
Cool.
Cool.
Okay. Well, that was like a solid hour and a lot of info. If you guys have other questions that come up, or if this sparks any new thoughts, ideas, questions, chat about it in the channel. Get a convo going, drop some questions in there. I'll pipe in, we'll all pipe in. But there was some practical stuff in here. And if you execute on any of this stuff, if you write out your list of people and you're going to write some custom samples, I challenge you to do that. Um, Try to get at least like 3 to 5 on that list where you're actively making a plan where you're like, I'm going to write custom samples for these 5 people and actually do that outreach. Okay. Cool. That's the big challenge coming out of this.
That's good.
Good. Actionable. Great.
Actionable.
Okay. Awesome. Great job, everybody, showing up on a 8 p.m. call on a Friday. Good hustle. Love to see it. Okay.
Great.
Awesome. Well,
Sweet.
have
All
Nice to meet you guys. Talking
okay.
to you
Yeah,
guys.
nice to meet you guys over in faces finally. And thanks, T. Appreciate it.
Got
Thanks,
it.
Tiana.
All right. Okay.
right.
Have a fantastic night.
See you
Bye.
later, guys.
Yeah.
Bye, everybody.